Well, I'm back out here again on good old Lake Lavon, and I've got a boat here. It's going to be a keeper. I have the Beeline that I had for 9 years. I love that boat. But a gentleman stopped by, around 80 years old, had this boat since 1996. This is a 1996 Champion Fish and Ski 192 with a 200 horsepower Mariner Magnum. This thing is collector quality. He has kept it garaged since the day he bought it. He did have hydraulic steering put on it, but I thought I'd go ahead and do a video on this thing because you won't even see these very often anymore, and I love unique stuff that hardly exists anymore. That's why I like that Beeline. They only made that boat for 2 years and no one else had one. It's kind of fun. I'm a old muscle car nut, and I love what they call survivors, stuff that actually made it through goodness knows how many years and still is in clean shape. People took care of it. Brought this thing home and I loved it, but much to my surprise, my wife fell in love with it even more than me. So, needless to say, that made the decision on which one we kept, the Beeline or the Champion. But no matter how mint these things are, I've done some little things, updated the fish finder, went ahead and switched trolling motors out, although I happen to have a 24 or a 1224 hand control in my repertoire of parts, so I did switch it out for a little bit more powerful one, although it did have a 1224, but back in 1996 the biggest you could get was 50-pound thrust. This has got 67, not a huge increase, but, and to tell you the truth, I think they're the same trolling motor. They just up the rating on the thing because I've used the 50 pounds and they're pretty powerful, but since I had this thing and it literally had never been used, I figured why not, since it's going to be my toy. Look at this thing. This is the original interior. It still looks like the day it was bought. Carpet, all original, still perfect. Gel coat shines. Dash shows no fade. I did install a GPS fish finder, so when I'm fishing the large lakes I can find my way back to the boat ramp that I launched at more than anything. Of course, it does have a lake map and that sort of thing in it, but mainly here in Texas we fish these. We've got some big lakes. One of them's called Sam Rayburn, and that thing is a monster. If you're out there at dusk and you launched in a cove, you'll be lucky to find your way back to that boat ramp unless you have GPS. But here we go. I'm going to take a quick spin in it. I have GPS this little jewel at 66, and that's with a 4-blade prop 24 pitch, which is actually a little over revving. I think it'll pull a 26 or a 28, but as I said, this man was right at, I think he's 80 years old and a professor at a college. Really not your hot rodding type. He said he saw this thing at the dealership, fell in love with it, but it was way more boat than he really needed or wanted originally. But when I get finished with this, I'll do a walk around. This is a neat looking boat on the trailer. It comes with a tandem trailer and everything, so it looks pretty hot on the trailer. I'll do a quick spin on it real fast. Not a lot to see actually, since since I'm not putting it on the market, but I just thought since I was out here it'd be kind of fun to do one. Oh, by the way, since it hadn't been running quite some time, I'm running it double oil, so it runs pretty darn smooth, but it'll smoke a little bit more than normal, and it loads up a little bit from when you first start it. Really doesn't seem to affect it when I'm running around driving it. It's always nice to have some double oil in there when these things have been running a while for your confidence level. I've replaced the fuel lines and the oil lines for the two-stroke oil and a lot of little things that were, you know, back in the day kind of thing, probably needed to be checked out. But this is a cool running boat. If you can tell it, but typical to this lake, it seems to be always somewhat rough, and these champions ride phenomenally well. Let's see if you can see this out here. Yeah, it's hard to tell when you're running, but it's not wide capping, but the way it's blowing, it is having some rollers. It was hard to do a top speed. I actually think I can get this boat running 70 with prop change, but I kind of like that 24/4 blade because it does pop up on plane in a heartbeat. Set you back in the seat. Here's the motor running. Close the windshield before I did this. About to blow the camera out of my hand, but that was about, we got up to, I'd say around 45, 50, something like that just then. As I said, I just happened to be out here playing with it. Thought I'd do a video on this thing because it's kind of fun to see these old things still run. This, you know, being 26 years old, it's just kind of fun to see, kind of like going back in time. But anyhow, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope somebody gets a kick out of this thing. Thanks again. Well, here we go. I'm going to do a little walk around video on this thing. As I said, this one here is a keeper. I can't believe I actually ran across one of these things in this kind of shape. This is what excites me about doing what I do. I love finding something like this. It's just it's such a rare find. This just makes what I do a lot of fun. Anyhow, here we go. This is a 1996 Champion 192 Fish and Ski. I mentioned that earlier, probably on the test drive, but I thought it wouldn't hurt to say it again. I want to emphasize 1996. I mean, this thing is 26 years old. Still shines like new. I love these Champion Fish and Skis. They look like a little cigarette style boat, a hot boat. Tandem trailer. It's rated for a 200, and a 200 is what it's got. Four blade prop. Little water running out of the live well overflow there. Thought I'd do this out here at the lake, at the park, because it makes for such a nice setting and kind of wet your whistle on wanting to go to the lake. Obviously, I'm a pretty die-hard boat enthusiast. Probably enjoy running around in the boat as much or more maybe than even fishing. But fishing gives me a good excuse to be out in one of them. A little bit of cloud cover today, so the sun's in and out. You won't be able to see this side, and really I guess it's just about showing it to you. Bragging rights. But this thing is a nice boat. It's even still super clean on the bottom. If he's beached it, it's only been a couple of times. It probably has been beached, but has not been abused in any way. Of course, if we all could look back on stuff we've had and wished, kick ourselves because we didn't keep it, Of course, in my case, and probably a lot of everybody else's case, you really, when you're young and you had stuff, who could afford to just put it on ice for 30 or 40 years? But I can now, and this little jewel is not going anywhere. Okay, well, I thought I'd just kind of show y'all and share with you my find here, and kind of proud of this thing, so I figured why not share it. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Some of you guys have subscribed and stuff, never even expected that, and I appreciate it. Thank you. But anyhow, good boating. Appreciate y'all watching. Thank you.